Blog Talk Radio.
Transition, the process of change from one condition to another.
We are now at a new crossroads where change is evident once again.
What does not serve us must transform us anew.
Returning to our original state of oneness and true nature of that which created who we truly are.
Confusion was the way of the past. Enlightenment is the way of the now and future. Shedding away the layers of deceit.
We now bring you the transformation of the two who started as one. Our fearless planet never stands still.
Earth has been in a process of transition, not exactly its remarkable ongoing reality.
Welcome to Transition Radio.
Well, hello everyone. My name is Angelo Cummings. I am your host.
And I'm Lynna Lopez, your hostess.
We're broadcasting live from the beautiful land of enchantment, Silver City, New Mexico. Lovely place it is.
We wanted to take this time to thank our friends at thebreastformstore.com. They have everything you can imagine to enhance your feminizing needs.
As well as Spunk Lube, the amazing personal lubricant that's 100% glycerin-free. It's sex toy safe with all materials, and it's fun to use. That was a tongue twister. I highly recommend visiting their website,
www.spunklube.com.
Enter the code TR, and you will receive a 10% discount. Show them your support. They've been supporting Transition Radio for quite a while, especially the Breast Form Store. Show them your love by going to their website and, giving them a little business every now and then. Well, today's Wednesday, and it is Health and Nutrition Wednesday. And for those of you who haven't been following us on Facebook, we are starting a fast.
Yes, on Friday.
And we have created an event page for those that want to join in. This Friday, we will do the show on Google Hangout, and we will encourage you guys that are doing the fast or have questions about fasting in the future to just go ahead and join us and ask questions, or just, I guess they could take part by being part of.
Yeah, they can.
Yeah, never really actually used Google Hangout before, so this is going to be a learning curve. But we've been wanting to do this for a while now so that we could bring forth more of an image than just the radio.
It's exciting, though. I'm looking forward to, taking this next step and fasting and stuff and trying to get healed up from what's happened to me.
Yes, definitely. And I smoked for 2.5 years when I was with Jessica, and I need to get all that bad stuff out of my lungs. I need to, as you get older, your body just starts to break down, and I feel that I'm ready for another fast. It's been almost 3 years since I've done my last fast, if not longer.
So fasting, well, then, it's not for a diet, right?
Oh, absolutely not. I mean, you will lose some weight, but that weight is usually gained right back because it's usually just water weight and you're not eating anything, so obviously your body is going to consume some fat, some muscle. Fasting is mainly for health purposes, to let your body heal, to let your body reset itself and create a normal metabolism so that your body will take you to its normal weight.
Nice. Well, we have a few articles here that we wanted to talk about with related to health and nutrition. And the first one is talking about 8 health floods that you make every day. And this was found in a Men's Health magazine. Am I right?
Yes, it was.
So this article, the first one, is geared for men, and we have one for the ladies.
Yeah. But women could also benefit from this because if they do these flubs, they're also going to see bad results in their lives.
Yeah, but I saw something that was specifically towards men.
Wow.
Something about the penis.
Oh, okay.
Well,
they have clitoris, which is the same thing as a penis, which most people aren't really privy to that information. A clitoris becomes a penis when androgen is exposed to them.
Yeah, and we don't talk about the fact that trans women, some of them have penises too.
That's right. So for those special kind of women, this is also good for you.
Well, you're blowing it. Every time you shoot snot into a tissue when you're sick, regenerating loads of intranasal pressure that pushes oozy fluid into the sinus pockets located below your eyes, reveals research from the University of Virginia.
Where'd you get Minnesota?
I don't know, some Virginia, soda, whatever. Forcing mucus back into your sinuses creates pressure, messes with nasal ventilation and drainage, and could lead to infections, the study authors say. So instead of actively trying to force all that junk out of your sick nose, you're better off just wiping away the snot as it runs out, the study suggests. Here are 7 more health flubs you didn't realize you were making.
And this is interesting because most people, what do? They're constantly blowing their nose. And
I think that if you touch your face at all, it's bad. You know, anytime you put your hands,
because you're just spreading. I mean, you're touching things. So let's say you're working on the computer and the computer's shared by other people. You're not only spreading your germs to them, but they're spreading your germs to you. And that constantly, picking at your nose or blowing your nose and doing all this stuff is just not good for you. And plus, the amount of pressure that is being created when you blow your nose is very damaging.
Ooh.
A lot of people don't realize that. Just be gentle with yourself. Anyway, if you blow, pick, or pluck your nose, you're not doing yourself any favors, and that's just one body part. Here are 7 more. Okay, my father used to always say, it's better to lose a friend than to lose an intestine.
Oh,
and he would fart in the dinner table, and he would fart everywhere. But he had some, truth to what he was saying. He says, here, you hold in your farts, it's a bad thing.
Wait a minute, though.
Yeah.
Holding in your farts, okay, if you don't really, have a problem with, having bad food in your body, you're not going to smell.
Right.
So you would be a silent smeller,
right.
Farter.
And also, if you're eating the right kind of foods, you should not be creating gas. Gas comes from improper combination of foods. For instance, fruit digests in 20 minutes. So you eat fruit, and then you eat something like fat or carbohydrates that take longer. Well, the fruit is going to ferment and digest quickly. So now you're going to create this fermentation, which is gassy, which hence the farts. There's certain foods like beans that your body cannot digest very easily, so then you fart. So if you're eating the right way, you shouldn't have any farts. But if you do, suppressing gas may increase the pressure in your colon, which pushes out the walls of the section of your large intestine, creating sacs called diverticula, which are very painful, by the way, shows a study from New Zealand. These sacs can lead to abdominal pain, constipation, and diarrhea, and can also become cancerous. Many people didn't know that. If one of them bursts, a condition called diverticulitis, which is extremely painful, that's common among middle-aged and senior adults, fever, pain, or colon obstruction can develop, the study author says.
You pop your zits. This is one that lots of people do.
Yeah.
A pimple is basically a little pocket of dirt and bacteria that your skin has wisely sequestered away from the surrounding pores. But if you pop it, you'll usually end up pushing some of that gunk back into your skin, which leads to more pimples, explains Mark Glasshofer, MD of the American Academy of Dermatology. You would know.
You would know, yeah.
It's better to just let the pimple do its thing and sit there on your face, and rupture on its own, or at least wait until the little sucker's ready to burst, when just the tiniest bit of light pressure on either side of it will force out the disgusting contents. Gross.
Yeah, that's what Dr. Glasshofer says. Anyway, I believe that there are certain remedies to help zits eliminate themselves quicker without bursting them and popping them. You put toothpaste on your pimple, it dries them out.
Oh, wow.
And it helps get rid of them. So instead of spending all this money on all these zit medication, whatever, clean your face, number one, because your oils are the ones that create the sebaceous gland to get infected and stuff growing in them. And if you do get one, you might as well just use some toothpaste. That will clear it out. Drink lots of water. Stay away from chocolates and certain foods that will increase the zit production. You don't pee the moment nature calls. That's bad news. When you have to hold it, not only are you going to get an urinary tract infection, you're going to have a lot of problems. When you hold in your urine, the pain or discomfort you feel is a result of pressure building up in your bladder, in your kidneys, and the tubes that connect those organs to your penis. all of which could experience infections as a result of your failure to piss. This could happen to women, too. You don't need to have a penis to have a urinary tract infection, according to resources from Columbia University Health System. Actually, that's one of the for sure way of getting a urinary tract infection if you hold your pee.
I think that's more common with women to hold their pee.
And that's why they have most women have urinary tract infections.
Right.
I was one that used to get them all the time.
You were a woman?
Yes. Okay, we've discussed this before. Yes. I used to get them all the time.
Okay. Are we done with this?
Yes,
yeah. Okay. You sit for number 2.
When you take a crap.
Yeah.
Okay.
Thanks. For hundreds of thousands of years, your ancestors squatted to relieve themselves, and human anatomy hasn't adapted to the toilet, studies suggest. When you squat, as opposed to sitting, which you have to be in shape for, by the way,
I know.
Your knees end up a few inches above your butt, which straightens your anal canal for strain-free defecating, shows a study from Japan. The researchers suggest the curvature of your anal canal when sitting on a toilet leads to higher rates of constipation, hemorrhoids, and other crapping-related health issues.
I love the way this guy writes. Anyway, if you go to other countries, they don't have toilets. They have a hole in the ground, so you can squat, just the way we're meant to.
That's what I mean, that this article is geared towards men, because women wouldn't say piss, they wouldn't say crapping.
Well, but anyway, but it's still for both. But yeah, I mean, it's one of those things. That's why a lot of people have constipation, they have hemorrhoids, they have all sorts of problems, because we're not meant to sit on a porcelain toilet. I mean, we're meant to squat. Even having babies, when women used to have babies out in the day, they would squat, push them out. Now they go up in stirrups and push, come on, and all that stuff, You pluck your nose hair. This is something, since I became a trans man, a lot of nose hairs grow on my nose, and I hate it. So I have this little machine that kind of but I've tried plucking it a couple of times, and it hurts.
It's okay to clean up, the dirty part right there.
Yeah, but not pluck it off.
The stuff that sticks out.
But you're not supposed to pluck it out. No. You're supposed to take a pair of scissors and kind of trim them.
Yeah.
First of all, those hairs are there for a reason. They keep contaminated and harmful microorganisms from being sucked up into your brain and respiratory system.
Pretty serious.
Shows a study from Turkey. Trimming the tips to keep them from dangling below your nostrils, which is very uncomfortable, is no big deal. Dr. Glasshofer says, but pluck them out and you create a tear in the skin inside your nose, which is susceptible to infection from all those same microorganisms caught in the surrounding hairs. That makes sense.
Same problem that you would have by not doing it and doing it seems like.
No, if you pluck them and you create a micro tear, you're going to get all that particle.
No, but what I'm saying, I probably didn't phrase it right. Like, if you don't do it, then that's what happens, but that's what those nose hairs are there to prevent in the first place.
We're meant to have hair all over our body. That's why it grows.
That's why we're chimpanzees.
Exactly, because your skin is your biggest organ, and
Well, here's one. You pick your nose. I'm not saying you do.
No, but we all do.
Like plucking hairs, picking too frequently, or too enthusiastically.
How do you enthusiastically pick your nose?
Like I said, it's an article geared towards men, and some men are very enthusiastic about how they pick their nose, especially if you see them in the, rush hour.
I've seen some women
them,
pick their nose.
Picking away.
I've seen some women with them long nails just going up there and picking away or sticking it in their ears.
Oh, gross.
Yeah.
Well, like plucking hairs, picking too frequently or too enthusiastically could lead to cuts or irritations, as well as infections, Dr. Glasshofer explains. Tears of the nasal septum, separating the nostrils, are also common among guys who nose mine for 30 minutes or more a day, shows a study from Wisconsin's Dean Foundation.
Now, if you lead a healthy, raw vegan lifestyle, you won't be producing any boogers, or you won't be picking any boogers from your nose. Problem solved. All right, so you rub your eyes, which people do this all the time, and rubbing your peepers creates tremendous pressure that can lead to nerve damage, corneal tear, or even a detached retina, explains Charles McMonies, an MCA, a professor of vision science at the University of New South Wales in Australia. Your eyes are especially susceptible to pressure-related injuries when you first wake up in the morning and after you remove your contacts. McMonies add, I don't like contacts because of that. I almost damaged my eyes with a pair of contacts at one point.
Contacts are like a lifesaver for me. Getting used to wearing glasses. I'll do it if I have to, but I prefer wearing contacts. I've worn them since I was 18 years old, so I've been through like the kind that are like little discs that really bug you, but these days they've made them a lot more like friendly because they're thinner, they're more breathable.
But they're very high in contaminants, and you're sticking your hands in your eye, pulling them out, the pressure. There's a lot of bacteria-related people that get a lot of infection in their eyes from using contact.
Oh yeah, no doubt. Well, here's an article for women. Definitely not for men.
No, definitely not.
Okay. We did assemble that fact. That
this is menopause. Although men do go through menopause as well.
Trans women.
No. Genetic, what's the... Cis men, okay, I hate that word, but genetically born men do actually go through menopause.
I didn't know that.
Yes.
Well, 9 things that can make you start menopause early. You may not think twice about the bottle of body wash that you use in the shower each morning or the plastic container of Thai you microwaved for dinner last night. But these items may contain chemicals that can potentially wreak havoc on your body.
A recent study published in PLOS One that analyzed exposure to 111 chemicals in women all over the U.S. found that those with the highest level in their bodies experienced menopause 2 to 4 years earlier, compared with women with the lowest levels. That's actually an effect that's more profound than smoking, says lead study author Amber R. Cooper, MD, a reproductive endocrinologist and infertility specialist, and an assistant professor at Washington University in St. Louis. He holds a lot of hats. So what's the connection? Well, that's one of the big lingering questions, says Cooper.
The chemicals that she studied are considered endocrine disrupting. Or endocrine, is that right?
Endocrine disrupting.
But why exactly they may lead to early menopause isn't yet known. It's also not clear whether one main chemical is causing damage or whether multiple chemicals interacting with each other could be the problem. What's important to understand is that it isn't any one product that contains dangerous levels of a chemical. It's that tiny amounts of exposure from lots of products accumulate over time. The PLOS One study didn't analyze women who had been exposed to unusually high amounts of chemicals. It looked at everyday exposure that builds up gradually.
Well, there's a lot of stuff like pesticides, herbicides. You've got when you use the microwave and you're using estrogenic type of compounds that are released in the bloodstream slowly, what you're breathing. And there's just tons and tons of these endocrine disrupting chemicals, and I believe that it's very much responsible for all the transgender individuals that we're seeing nowadays.
Well, I think it's interesting, though, that there's a whole other dimension of things that even are happening in this world that we live in, stuff in the microwave, that affects you, probably your phone, Wi-Fi signals, all of that, stuff that's unseen to the natural eye, to the naked eye, but is very much a real part of the world that we live in.
Yeah, and we're looking up at the sky, the chemtrails, stuff they put in our foods. The fluoride in our water, you name it. We're constantly being insulted with things left, right, and center. Well, unfortunately, until more studies are able to show a distinct cause and effect relationship as opposed to a mere association or link, like when they have thousands of deaths, and maybe they'll look into it, as the study did, it's unlikely that potentially dangerous chemicals will be removed from products because they're making the companies too much money. That means that you, as a consumer, have to be extra careful about what you purchase to help you play it safe. We gather a list of some of the top offenders when it comes to products that tend to contain the chemicals that were studied, such as PCBs, polychlorinated biphenyls, pesticides, and here we go, phthalates. Check them out so you can be a smart shopper.
Number 1 is plastic food storage containers. The facts. Phthalates are often used in this type of product because they make plastics softer and more flexible. The fix. You can look for a plastic brand that says phthalate-free, such as Sterilite. But some experts insist that it's best to avoid plastic altogether and buy food storage containers that are made of glass or stainless steel. If you insist on keeping your old plastic food storage containers, at the very least, don't microwave anything in them. The chemicals in plastic are not bound to the product. They are additives. so they can leach out into the food that you're eating, and heat accelerates that, says Simona Balan, senior scientist at Green Science Policy Institute in Berkeley, California. That goes for plastic takeout containers too. Instead, microwave your food, if you have to, on glass, stainless steel, paper, or on a microwave-safe dinner plate.
If you become a raw vegan, you have no worries about using the microwave or ever worrying about using any plastic containers, so you're going to really save yourself a lot of headaches. Personal care products, and people don't realize that. It's not just what you're eating and what you're microwaving, but what you're using in your body, shampoo or shampoo for your hair. You know, the fact is, this is a huge category that contains items such as I mentioned, shampoo, lotion, and body wash. Anything that comes in a soft plastic container is suspect. Even your water, especially anything that contains a fragrance, because it would contain phthalates. The fix, companies don't have to list phthalates. I can't even pronounce that word. Phthalates as ingredients, though they sometimes do. If you see anything on an ingredient list that ends in the word phthalate, don't buy it. Look for items that are fragrance-free and check out companies that make natural phthalate. Thank you. Free products such as Burt's Bees. They're good products. Burt's Bees. I've used some of their stuff before.
Perfume/cologne. The facts, phthalates are commonly used in perfumes and colognes because they make the scent last longer, says Balan. The fix, switch to a natural phthalate-free fragrance, such as scents from Tiasila Organics. Thanks, Martha. And just keep in mind that you may have to reapply it more often.
No problem, Polly. Frozen meals. The facts, foods that come in plastic food packaging like frozen meals, tubs of butter, yogurt, or plastic jars of pretzels could contain phthalates. Don't be eating none of that stuff. The fix, whenever possible, avoid plastic and buy products that come in glass or paper packaging.
Number 5, fish. The facts. There are 9 PCBs that have been banned in the U.S. since 1979. But the problem is we're still exposed to them, largely because they've gotten into the land, air, and water, and contrails, right? Mm-hmm. They are considered persistent chemicals because they don't break down. Some chemicals might be released into the environment when the chemical is made, when the chemical is added to products, when the product is used, and whenever the product is disposed of improperly. Little critters in the sea might ingest some of it, then a bigger fish may eat lots of those critters, and then we might eat that fish. So it climbs up the food chain, says Zena Singla, PhD staff scientist at the Natural Resources Defense Council.
The fix, stay away from eating fish. In certain areas of the country, like the Great Lakes area, for example, some bodies of water may contain fish that have higher levels of PCBs and also mercury. I mean, that's another biggie because historically, PCBs may have been manufactured or disposed of there. And also what happened with the BP spill, I wouldn't be eating much seafood after that. If you're sport fish, may pay attention to advisories for specific lakes and rivers. Say singular. PCB tends to build up the most in fish that are fatty and in fish that eat many other fish, aka larger, older fish. So when purchasing fish at a grocery store or restaurant, choose one that are low in fat, small, and young, and contact your state health department for more information about fish and bodies of water in your region.
Number 6, dairy and meat. The facts. PCBs creep into dairy and meat products the same way they creep into fish. The fix.
Stay away from meat and dairy.
The fix. You can choose organic dairy and meat products at the supermarket to make sure that antibiotics and growth hormones aren't allowed. However, even organic products may contain PCBs since the chemicals are still present in our environment. So your best bet is simply to reduce your consumption of these items if possible. For example, try taking Meatless Monday to a new level by going 100% vegetarian once a week.
Or about 100% vegan for a lifetime. Fruits, number 7, fruits and veggies. The facts. The issue with regular fruits and vegetables at the supermarket is that many of them are sprayed with toxic pesticides. I don't know, not everyone can afford organic. So if you do buy conventional, make sure you wash your vegetable thoroughly.
Make sure you stay away from apples, though.
Yeah, apples
and strawberries.
Yeah, there's certain
berries are really bad.
They're hard. You can't really take the pesticide out.
Right.
So always eat organic fruits that don't have the peel. And even though you could peel the apple, it still goes in because the actual skin is very thin, unlike an orange, and things of that nature. Anyway, the good news is that buying organic produce means that you can avoid consuming pesticide. Be sure to always buy as much as possible organic, but when you can't, then just go ahead and spray them with. You can actually, there's several detergents that you could buy, to wash your vegetables.
So you can stick them in the laundry machine?
No, there's like a special type of stuff that they sell where you put them in, soak them, and then wash them out.
Okay, well, 8 is candles and air fresheners. The facts, though you probably want your home to smell good. In 2011, the Natural Resources Defense Council tested 14 air fresheners and found that 12 contain phthalates, even ones marketed as all natural, quote unquote, or unscented, quote unquote. And if you're using candles that contain synthetic fragrances, they may also contain phthalates.
The fix: choose a soy-based or beeswax-based candle with a lead-free wick that's made with essential oils and or phthalate-free fragrances, such as solar candles. So basically, anything you use nowadays, I mean, it's like,
doesn't matter.
Yeah, this is why we have so much cancer and so much diseases, though. So you got to be careful with your kids as well. The old plastic kid toys that were manufactured before 2009.
Mostly from McDonald's, because kids got these in their Happy Meal.
To try to kill them. If the food didn't kill them, the toys would. Yeah. The U.S. banned manufacturers from using 6 types of phthalates in plastic children toys and in certain plastic child care products, those for kids ages 3 and under, to facilitate sleeping or feeding or to help a child who is sucking or teething. Can you imagine that? Here, put this in your mouth, it'll kill you. Before this ban, if children put these toys in their mouth, they could ingest small amounts of these chemicals.
Now, I remember that a friend of mine used to work for, I think it was Huffy or something, and he basically, the bike maker, and they made bikes in China. And the reason he said that they took their business over to China was because they don't have the environmental protection laws that we do in the United States, and the kind of paint that they use is always hazardous. So they don't have a law against that. So then they manufacture them there. Then they send them off to the United States, and we still have problems.
They do the same thing with dogs, too. They do all sorts of stuff with dogs, and then they manufacture it in other countries and bring it here.
Dogs?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. The fix for these plastic toy hand-me-downs is that unless you know for sure that they were made after February 2009, just stay away from them. To be safest, buy new ones. And if you buy a plastic toy from another country where McDonald's is always buying their stuff from China, keep in mind that the particular country may have looser rules than the U.S., as what I said.
And nowadays, everything is manufactured elsewhere.
Yeah, everything.
They don't want to pay employees here. They don't want to pay for benefits, so they manufacture everything overseas.
I mean, all the phone calls that we get.
Hello, this is Don Smith. Yeah.
You're actually
Alibaba.
Sanjeet
from India.
From India.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I think that these are very handy, pieces of information that people can just, if you don't remember all of them, at least you can remember a few of them to remind you that, you need to be careful.
Exactly. One of the things we need to be careful is cancer. We are really seeing a lot of rise in cancer, and
I'm sorry. I thought we were done.
No, we're not. Yeah, she's had one of those days today, and it's like, I'm having deja vus. Anyway, there are simple ways to significantly lower your chances of ever getting cancer, and we're seeing nowadays, I think 1 out of 8 women are actually getting cancer, and men as well with prostate cancer and all sorts of stuff. So, it's not just a chance that you're getting it because it's in your genetics or anything like that. You're actually getting this because of the chemicals that you're exposing yourself, the lifestyle that you're leading. You're not taking care of yourself. Your immune system is being shot. Anyway, the article reads, when it comes to preventing cancer, your best defense may be common sense. Up to 40% of cancer are caused by lifestyle behaviors like smoking, eating too much, and not exercising, according to a 2011 study in the British Journal of Cancer. Most lung cancers are related to smoking. Yes, most skin cancers are related to sun exposure. This I don't agree with. Most cervical cancers are related to HPV, and that is from the vaccine that they've been giving a lot of the girls. They're actually getting cancer from the vaccine, and which is pretty alarming. Genetics, on the other hand, are related to a fairly small number of cancer, maybe 10 to 15%, which is a small percentage. As such, he says, focusing on health behavior is the most effective way to lower your risk of cancer. Here are 8 ways to boost your chance of staying disease-free.
Number 1, absolutely, positively, do not smoke. This is a no-brainer. But ditching the cigarettes is key when it comes to preventing cancer of all kinds. Smoking accounts for 30% of all cancer deaths, and lung cancer, in particular, kills more Americans than any other type. Avoiding tobacco is one of the best ways to decrease your risk of cancer, says Masters. Even cutting back from 20 to less than 10 cigarettes per day reduced smokers' lung cancer risk by 27%, according to a 2010 study in the Journal of the American Medical Association. The less smoke exposure you have, says Masters, the better. You can get help with quitting at smokefree.gov.
And that's a very good program, because I actually went to that program with a certain person I'm not going to mention right now, but they do offer great things, but yes. But if you're not willing to quit, then no matter what, they could put a gun over your head and it ain't going to happen. Anyway, keep an eye on the scale. It's very important that packing on the pounds isn't just detrimental to your waistline, which who wants to date a fatty? According to the American Institute for Cancer Research, AICR, and no, I didn't know if I shouldn't have said that. I'm going to get pretty in for that one. But no, really, I mean, if you don't take care of your body, then how do you expect, to have anyone really look at you? And
if you're out there,
yeah,
if you're married already,
well, even then, your husband, that's why your husband cheats on you, because he's looking for somebody who's a hottie. Anyway, excess body fat is linked to an increased risk of 9 cancer. I know, I'm an idiot, including esophageal, kidney, and gallbladder. Fat tissue produces proteins that cause inflammation, which promotes cell growth and ups the risk of cancer. What's more, the AICR estimates that more than 120,000 cancer cases in the U.S. every year are attributed to extra weight gain, especially around the belly.
Especially for men.
Yeah, and even in women, that's how you end up getting.
Women too?
Yeah, you end up getting ovarian cancer and all sorts of endometrial cancer, because you're carrying around all this excess weight around your gut.
Well, certain lifestyle behaviors, this Patricia Gans, MD Director of the Division of Cancer Prevention and Control Research at University of California, Los Angeles, Johnson Comprehensive Cancer Center.
That's a long one.
That's a great one. Certain lifestyle behaviors make maintaining a healthy weight more challenging today than ever. But what does that mean, really? That it makes it more difficult, more challenging? Certain lifestyle behaviors. Is it certain lifestyle behaviors that we force on ourselves, that we expect ourselves to deal with?
Well, we're creatures of habits, and people get out of work and they don't really feel like cooking, so they go through the drive-thru, they pick up Kentucky Fried Chicken, or they go through McDonald's and they pick up whatever it is, and it's, I know it's hard to prepare meals when you're tired, but your health is worth it.
Well, fast food, like you said, is cheap.
Yeah.
And we spend more time with our TVs, computers, and iPhones, Androids than we do outdoors. Her recommendation is, and this is something that you probably don't agree with either, weigh yourself frequently so you can take action if the numbers start creeping up, which is not very accurate because you can't ever tell what kind of weight that is.
Exactly. When she talks about BMI being below 25, BMI is not at all accurate. You could have a bodybuilder that has a 40 BMI and be in terrific health, a specimen of health. They get lean and whatever else. So you can't go by that. And you can't go by what the scale tells you either, because muscle weighs more than fat. So if you're working out in the gym and you're lifting weights, you're going to see a rise on that scale because you're building muscle, which is a good thing. You've got to check your body composition. Are your pants fitting better? Is your belt looser? Right. These kind of things. Look in the mirror. Common sense. Look at your clothes. Are they feeling better on you, Okay, so sweat for at least 30 minutes a week. That's wrong. You need to sweat at least 30 minutes a day.
I had to double check that on the article because I thought, A week?
A week?
What
My
is
God,
that
that's
about?
what? Work out 2 minutes a day? When it comes to preventing cancer, exercising is just as crucial as eating right. 1/3 of all cancer deaths in the U.S. every year are linked to diet and physical activity, while the American Cancer Society recommends getting 150 minutes of moderate exercise or 75 minutes of vigorous activity. Weekly, that is. Research has found shorter workouts can be effective, too. A 2010 study published in Nutrition and Cancer found that just 30 minutes of weekly physical activity was enough to reduce women's chances of developing breast cancer, which affects 1 out of 8 women in the U.S. by 35%. 35%?
35? That's it? That's all that we're shooting for?
Well, because they want them sick. That way the chemotherapy and the radiation have their, they don't want you to be healthy.
When I was a kid, getting 35% on the test, what was that?
That was terrible. That was a fail. Yeah, but
that was an F.
But do you understand? It's like the Maytag commercial. If people don't get sick, the medical industry goes under. So they don't want people to be healthy. They give you parts of information that are partly correct and then the other are incorrect. So people get confused, and hence the diseases we see because they're all messed up.
But here's the truth. We can actually heal ourselves.
Oh, of course.
We don't even need doctors.
We do not need doctors. The body heals itself.
That's not sacrilegious.
No, that's at all. I mean, it's like doctors get in the way. I mean, you might need a doctor in an emergency situation when you're bleeding to death.
Or if you like your spleen ruptures or something.
Yeah, something that you can't do on your own.
Right.
Things of that nature, emergency medicine. But when it comes to everything else, your body is capable of healing itself. People just need to trust their own body and start listening to their higher self instead of listening to everybody else outside of them.
And to quit dumbing it down.
Yes.
Because your body reacts and doesn't react because of its being dumbed down.
And we're going to talk a lot about this stuff during the week that we're going to be fasting. We're going to have a fasting show on Friday, Monday, and Wednesday. Next Friday, we'll have a guest. So we're going to try to really touch base and do Google Hangouts as much as we can and really educate people on things that they really need to know about being healthy.
And it'll be interactive because we'll be involved in it and seeing the effects of it.
Exactly.
Well, the article continues and says, physical activity alone has a lot of protective effects, says Gans. Aside from helping to maintain a normal weight, it contributes to reducing inflammation. That in turn may discourage cells in the body that are going to go down the path of malignancy from continuing on that route.
People don't realize that everybody gets cancer cells throughout their lives. The immune system will end up what we call cancer-fighting cells, and it will get rid of the cancer cells. But if your immune system is low and you have more cancer cells and you have cancer-fighting cells, that's when you get yourself in trouble. Anyway, quit the booze, mostly. Alcohol is the culprit behind several cancers, including mouth, throat, liver, colon, and breast. The exact reason isn't known, but researchers think alcohol may damage body tissue. In the colon, for example, bacteria can convert alcohol into large quantities of acetaldehyde, a chemical that's known to cause cancer in lab animals. In women consuming liqueur causes level of estrogen, which I've always said too much estrogen in the body is cancer-forming, the hormone involved in breast tissue growth, to spike, which potentially increases the risk of breast cancer. The American Cancer Association recommends women limit alcohol consumption to 1 drink daily, but less is more, says Gans. A couple of drinks a week isn't a big deal, but daily drinking may carry some risks, she says.
Number 5, learn to love broccoli. I had to learn that one recently. Vegetables aren't only a part of a healthy diet, they also have cancer-fighting properties. That's why the American Cancer Society recommends eating 2.5 cups of fruits and veggies daily. Cruciferous vegetables, in particular, think broccoli, Brussels sprouts, and cabbage, are packed with chemicals called glucosinolates, which show anti-cancer effects when broken down into compounds during digestion.
We love eating raw Brussels sprouts when we put them in the salad. It makes the salad crunchy, and they're excellent cancer fighters. A 2000 study in oncology, for example, found that one of these compounds reduced the growth of abnormal cells in a human cervix. Other cancer-fighting veggies, tomatoes, which contain lycopene, a phytochemical that blocks cell-damaging molecules called free radicals, and eggplant, which is a nightshade vegetable, which contains nasudin, an antioxidant that cuts off the blood supply that cancer cells need to multiply. Instead of radiation, eat lots of eggplant. Plus, that's your line, sorry.
Plus, loading up on veggies means that you won't have as much room for foods like red meat. Studies have found that diets containing more than 18 ounces of red meat per week, some people eat a steak that's 20 ounces big, in one sitting.
Yep.
Like my dad did.
And that's why he died of colon cancer.
That's the cause of colon cancer.
Yes. Stock up on your sunscreen. Okay, I don't believe in this at all. I truly believe the sun is very healthy for you. I believe in sun gazing, which I want to talk about in other shows. But it says here, women aged 18 to 39 are especially susceptible to melanoma, the deadliest form of skin cancer. And that's because women use a lot of creams, and they're eating a lot of stuff they're not supposed to be eating, which comes out on their skin, which is your biggest organ. The sun hits that, voila, you get a chemical reaction. The rates of the disease have shot up to 800% in the last 40 years. That's because they use more stuff. Indoor tanning, which blasts the skin with DNA-damaging UV rays, is partly to blame. But exposure to the actual sun is harmful too. What did the natives do? I mean, come on. Thankfully, the risk can be mitigated with a simple tube of sunscreen. No. A study of 1,600 people published in the Journal of Clinical Oncology in 2010 found that people who wore sunscreen daily were 50% less likely to develop melanoma than those who weren't a legitimate sunscreen user. Do the research on the actual sunscreen that causes more cancer, and you guys will get a different story.
You should be wearing, it says, according to this article, a minimum of SPF 15 every day, even in the winter and when it's cloudy. So you're going to stay white if you don't, want to stay white. What is it?
It's crazy. It's just like...
Isn't it the idea of tanning?
Exactly.
Says Gans, who also recommends avoiding the sun between the best hours. Sun exposure would be from 10 a.m. and 4 p.m. when the UV rays are at their strongest. Putting on sunscreen should be a habit, just like brushing your teeth with fluoride.
Yeah, exactly, which also kills you. Okay, stress to me is one of the biggest killers, so relax already. Stress alone doesn't cause cancer, but it can change the environment in the body so that the precancerous condition become more evident, says Gans. A 2013 study from Ohio State University found that chronic stress alters the activity of immune cells by priming them for the fight or flight response, which floods the body with hormones like cortisol, even if it's unnecessary. This can lead to an increased inflammation, which can potentially spark cancer cells mutation.
Thankfully, taking measures to reduce stress, anything from hitting the yoga studio to ignoring your work email after 7 p.m. each night, can lower inflammation levels. The idea is to do things to make your body the healthiest place it can be, says Gans. You want it to be an inhospitable place for cancer cells to grow.
Yeah, definitely. And I'm not even going to bother with number 8. We got a few minutes left. Start listening to your body, people. Start eating the right kind of foods. Rest. Stay away from all the abnormal activities that you do on a daily basis that goes against what the natural being of you is, and you will stay healthy. The sun's been around forever. Plants grow. Without the sun, the plant won't grow. We are part of Earth, and we need sun. So you gradually introduce yourself to the sun. Doesn't mean you're white and you're going to go and hang out 5 hours and get burnt like a lobster. No, that's not what I'm saying here. Gradually do it. Build up the resistance of your skin, and you will feel healthier. That vitamin D is crucial, and it's important for you. It's very
Wait, though. Vitamin D is in milk.
No, that's fortified. Milk has no vitamin whatsoever because once they pasteurize the darn thing, all you're eating is mucus from the cow's tit and a bunch of crap that is very mucus-forming.
But that's another show.
That's another show. Anyway, guys, please join us on the fast Friday, and we're going to try fasting we are going to fast for 7 days on a water fast. You can do any type of fast you want, from apple cleansing to juice fast, the watermelon fast.
Nestle Crunch fast?
No Nestle Crunch fast. But there are different types, and if you guys just go on... Actually, I should probably add it on the website or probably add it on this show, the link to the fast, so you guys get all the information and putting inspirational videos and information tidbits to help you prepare for the fast. So join us if you can. We'll see you Friday. If you can't live your truth,
then it's just not worth living.
Good night, folks. Have a good one.